name is Larry Barthle, Barthle Brothers Ranch. We are located in San Antonio, Florida. We're in the cattle business with commercial cattle, crossbreed, and registered Brahman, and quarter horses as well. Very diversified operation altogether. I mean, we have cattle, horses, we've got a quail hunt operation, we've got hunting leases, sometimes we do sod, it's been a while. Most years we do cost share on the hay seed.
I'm Randy Barthle. I'm from Pasco County right here at Barthle Brothers Ranch, and I've pretty much spent my life raising cattle and horses. That's about it. It's not a complicated life. The ranch actually started back in the 1920s. Our grandfather had cattle on open range before there was any fence laws passed. And at that time, he was against the idea of a fence law. Florida being the first state to have cattle introduced into it in the United States and the last state to have a fence law. He was trying to buy as much property as he could. In the 1930s, I think he had most of it put together by 1938, 1940. And at one point he had about 20,000 acres. But all over the years we raised so many horses, and our focus was trying to raise horses that you could work cattle on. And we also always had somebody that was into rodeo and roping calves, steer wrestling, team roping, more than anything else. And we raised a lot of horses that went professionally, competed all over the country.
People have different definitions of what a Florida cracker is. But the true definition was from the early times when people were working cattle and they had their own whips and they were popping the whips to move the cattle out of scrubs in rough areas. And so they were cracking the whip, and that's where the Florida cracker came from.
They called it cow hunting because we would ride off in those swamps and woods trying to find cattle and just try to get them out of there and get them into an open pasture trap so we could pin them. Used to be we'd ride down here for 2 or 3 days just trying to gather up, just trying to get enough cattle together in one trap to pin them and work them. So we did a lot more riding and a lot less time in the pen.
You have to have a dedication to long term. When you put a bull out, you won't know for 7 years approximately whether that bull is doing what you want him to do. If you buy a bull to keep heifers, it takes them to be 5 years old before you know if that cow is going to be successful. So you got a long-term investment, and if you make mistakes, it shows up 5 or 6 years later. It's more productive overall than it used to be. We have a little more, or we have some more improved pastures, but we're taking better care of them, which lets you take better care of the cattle as well. And that's the only way to stay in business. So by taking better care of the land, whether it's mowing, fertilizing, clearing some, providing more for the cattle, it lets you have more income so you can keep the ranch going. And caring for the land, loving the land and taking care of it, and want to pass it on to the next generation where it's in better shape than what you received it in.